Hello and welcome to IRS Group. Today I'm going to talk to you about the OET's test update because a lot of candidates have been asking a lot of questions about how the test update is going to be. The new version of the OET test will be rolled out in September 2018. And now that OET has published a bit of information on the public domain about the update, I'd like to talk to you about how it's going to be. One of the first question a lot of people ask is whether it's going to be easier or difficult. And honestly, it's going to be neither easier nor difficult. The level of language being assessed remains the same, so you don't have to worry about that. So if candidates have this apprehension, am I going to be penalized or getting a lower band if I sit after September? That's not the case, absolutely. So you can continue to write the test as it goes on today. Now, what are the changes in the test? Primarily, more changes can be seen in listening and reading. So in both listening and reading, currently we have two parts, part A and part B, whereas in the updated version there will be three parts, part A, B and C. Now, part A is going to be two patient-led conversations. Now, what's the implication of that? Worldwide, the health industry is being more and more patient-centric, and that's being reflected in the OET test as well. So unlike the consultation we have today, it's going to be a patient-led dialogue. So you'll have more of the patient's voice which you'll be listening rather than the healthcare providers. And part B is going to be 6 short dialogues or monologues in the workplace setting. So that's the new part which we have in listening. And part C is going to be 2 long presentations or interviews with a healthcare professional. So that's how it's going to be, and overall the timing comes down to 45 minutes from the current 50 minutes timing. Now let's look at the reading task. The reading task, as I've just mentioned earlier, will also have 3 parts, part A, part B and part C. Now part A is going to be an expeditious reading task. The current part A is also an expeditious reading task. However, the questions will change, which I'll discuss later. And there's a good news, like the number of questions is also coming down, so candidates can be really happy about that. Because for a lot of candidates in the current format, they're worried about completing 25 to 35 questions. So there's a bit of good news over there. And part B is actually going to be 6 short workplace extracts. And that's the new part, so primarily that will focus on reading for gist, etc. So I'll also be giving you more details on that part later. Now part C is 2 long presentation extracts. And overall the timing doesn't change, it remains an hour. So part A will have 15 minutes and B and C together will have 45 minutes. Now let's look at speaking. The speaking test remains the same. So you'll have the warm-up and role plays as we have today. There's no change in the format of the test. However, the assessment criteria is undergoing a change. A new set of criteria comes into place which replaces the existing overall communicative effectiveness. So that's moving out into a new heading, a new group of criteria, and that will be a set of communicative criteria. So the other 4 criteria, existing criteria, will become the linguistic criteria, and the new set of criteria will be more into a soft skills kind of assessment. So which is very relevant in the industry, in the healthcare sector. So you will have looking for the patient's perspective, providing structure, giving information, gathering information, etc. coming into the new set. So overall you will have 9 criteria, 4 linguistic and 5 communicative. So that's about the speaking test. And the writing test doesn't undergo a major change. It almost remains the same. There might be a change in the timing. Currently we have 5 minutes set apart for reading the task, the rubric, and 40 minutes to write. Now perhaps in the updated test you may not have the 5 minutes of reading time. It could be 40 minutes to read and write. So apart from that, there is no major change in the writing task, though there could be a slight tweak in what how the question might look like, but apparently it's not a big change. So that's about the updates. As and when desired and in the appropriate moment, I'll be disclosing more of these things in another session. But I assure you that here at IRS, we are well equipped and all set to launch a new courseware that prepares you for the updated test in September. So thank you for watching, and subscribe and keep liking so that you get more updates, as we will be publishing a lot more new practice materials as well. Thank you.